Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of MEA Dev Radio. We have a very special guest with us today. Welcome Tilila, how are you?
Thank you. I like to feel special.
That's great. So, we will start with Tilila, about you, what you do, how's your journey, and we would like to know more about from your side.
Okay. So where did my journey in tech start? It actually started at university.
Okay.
Right before that point in my undergrad, I wasn't a techie. Not at all. I was more of the literary kind, the artistic kind, but not the tech kind. But I still was putting an effort in STEM, so I knew I had some potential, but I wasn't a techie. And then while applying to university, I was browsing the courses, and then I saw a course called Artificial Intelligence.
Amazing.
That was back in the days when that movie AI from Steven Spielberg came out, and then there was The Matrix and all that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, what? You can study that? So that I chose computer science. I didn't know anything about it. And I thought, okay, I'm good at math. I can manage. Meanwhile, let's get the AI class. so that's when I started my computer science, and then I learned that it's not what I was thinking it would be. A lot of development, a lot of core concept of computer science. I learned Java, I learned .NET, and then eventually I reached the course of AI, which wasn't what I was expecting. I didn't know there would be that much math.
Yeah.
But I survived. And I also did more than survive. I actually liked it. So I was like, okay, data and AI is my world. At the time, the term data scientist was not there. So I thought I would be a data person, and that's that. So after my undergrad, the good thing about being a tech person and a developer is that you can work anywhere.
Correct. That's
right.
Correct. Yes.
So I actually traveled to Ecuador, and I
Okay.
became a developer there. I worked with a travel agency. I also went to India, and I was a .NET developer with a Microsoft
Wow.
partner. Yeah, so I was doing a lot
That's
of that.
nice.
And then I went to the US. I had a scholarship, so I studied computer science and focused on bioinformatics, which was a very nice field. I really loved it. It was a lot of machine learning applied to healthcare, a lot of Java, which now people would think Java data science, but it was
Yeah.
it was back then. So I've been a techie since then. Then I came back to Morocco. That's where I'm from, and then there was a tech sales opportunity that opened up at Microsoft, and there was a program called MAC, Microsoft Academy for College Hire.
Yeah.
I joined, and then little by I discovered the sales world and technical sales world, which was very, very interesting. I learned a lot from it, and I've been in Microsoft since then. Multiple roles. I still code. I still love it. More on the data and AI side, more the machine learning side, than the classic developer side. And that's that. That's me.
That's great. So you mentioned data and AI. It's kind of a core to you. What part of data and AI you love the most? Can you tell me the reason why? And a part of follow-up to that is, what would you like our audience to know more about that specific technology and how they can take it forward?
Without a doubt, the first one that's come into my mind is machine learning.
Amazing.
so I love that aspect. Because I love the insights that you get out of it. I love the fact that it is that you still have to think. There's still a lot of algorithms involved. The result is not guaranteed. There's a lot of experimentation that you have to do. So there's a reason why the word science is still there, because you have a hypothesis, you have the data, you test it, they get the results, and then you're like, and then you have to keep on iterating. So I love the machine learning. And for me, applied to healthcare, that's great. For other people, it can be applied to so many other industries.
Yes, and that part when you said, it's still a science, I agree to that 100%, because you still have to research a lot about it, and it does not guarantee you that you will get a proper result. So it's correct. Yeah. So that's one good
and you have to be ready for that.
Correct. Yes. So when we talk about machine learning and we say that it's a tough thing to be a person at that place, right? There are many roles which comes around who does machine learning, who you said in one of your introductions where you are a data person, but you didn't knew that there is some role kind data scientist available, right? So I'm personally confused about that. What are the different roles are available in this part
the
of
data
our
world?
yeah.
Well, I understand the confusion. So there are multiple people that come into the picture for you to be able to do your data science work.
Yes.
So anybody who's a data scientist here listening, our dream is to have that nice CSV file, very well structured.
Yes.
You know what you're going to predict. All your features are well balanced, well done, and all you have to do is run your algorithm.
Correct.
This only happens when you do your introductory class to
Yes.
machine learning. It's the only time you see that sheet. The rest of the time, there's a lot of, before you even write a model code, there's a lot of data, and we call it wrangling and data cleaning that you have to do. So your best partner in this should be a data engineer.
Okay.
Or somebody, or a data steward, somebody who knows, and I use this word interchangeably because it depends, hence the confusion, where you go, they're called differently. So you need a person who know where the data is, where does it sit, and how to extract it. Because you go into an organization as a data scientist, and then maybe we want to do a customer classification model. Okay, great, I can do classification. Where is the data?
Yes.
Who is that person who's going to tell me that database, those files, those websites, those logs are the ones from which I'll be able to gather the data. So a data engineer is critical there, and a data steward is critical as well. And the data steward would be the person who knows where everything is. An engineer would be the person to write the pipelines and things like that. Sometimes they're the same person.
Okay.
And then you have other people that come into the picture, and these would be your data analysts. So they would have a business acumen.
Okay.
They don't necessarily know on what the data runs from an infrastructure perspective, but they have their SQL Server management service, for example.
Yeah.
They can write queries. Some of them can do visualizations. So they have the business acumen. So they are the people to whom you can ask the question, okay, give me the last sales of that year or that, and they can give you that data. So that would be a data analyst profile. Then you have a data visualization type of roles. And I can say decent Power BI. Power BI skills, but I've known people who are really, really, really good at visualization, very well specialized, and it goes beyond knowing the features of Excel, Power BI, or any other tool. It goes, it requires you to ask yourself, what is the best way for me to represent that data so that when you see it, you understand exactly what I mean?
Correct.
Because I'm sure you've seen some reports and you look at it and you understand something completely different than what was intended. Or sometimes you don't even know how to read it. Okay.
That's a skill.
So that's a skill. Data visualization. It's a super important skill. So and then these are the typical roles you will find. And now with the big data, you find another nuance. Big data engineer. In organizations where you might have big data, like IoT, for example, and they would have those modern architecture with data lakes, hot path, cold path, and that's a new type of expertise that we've been seeing over the past decade.
That's great. So a part of it is, so I wanted to learn this, right? I have you, I'm fortunate, so I could learn it, right?
Sure.
But for audience, I think so, does the data fundamentals cover all this? Whether they can go ahead and start learning from the data fundamentals?
Our certification?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You would have a bird eye view.
Okay.
A bit more than a bird eye view, I would say, but you would get the fundamentals, and you would be able to understand where each one of those roles play a part.
Okay, so you have the place. You can actually go ahead on Microsoft Learn. You can find out the data fundamentals, and you can also do a certification on top of that, which will give you an idea about all the roles which are a part of data in this case.
Absolutely.
Cool. And last week was Ignite.
Yes.
Can you give me your highlights about what you learned from Ignite?
My highlight would be DALI on Azure. So for those of you who don't know, DAL, DALI, is a model that has been created by OpenAI, a company called OpenAI. And what it allows you to do, write a description of something, and then it draws it for you. So, for example, it was my mug on a table, and you would actually draw a mug on a table. But it would draw it also in a very aesthetic way. So it's not rudimentary. You really be able to draw it. So you can go and check it out. Very impressive stuff. So now it's going to be on Azure, so which means the compute power on Azure, all the governance aspects of Azure. So our customers are going to be able to have a blast with it. And we've seen some cases where there is this customer called RTL, and they have podcasts, and they use DALL-E to design the cover of the different podcast episodes, and it looks really nice. I hope we can see it too. We can show it to the viewers. That was my highlight. It's still on private preview, but again, it's going to be available very soon. So that's fantastic.
If I remember it correctly, the DALL-E was on GitHub for some time, and people used to use that.
Contribute, right? And use it.
Yes. I remember. That's great. So one part of the question is if someone wants to start working with it, what is the process of doing that? So you said it's in private preview. How do we request an access to it?
Yeah, we there is a link. Hopefully we can paste it.
We can put it on the show description.
So you can fill it out, and you'll have all the information.
That's great.
That's how we do it.
That is amazing. It was very great to talk to you, Tilila, and I hope you enjoyed it a lot. You get a lot of insights from this. This was very insightful. Thanks a lot, Tilila, for coming on our show. Hope you have a good day and see you soon. Thank you.